Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm back in Company of Heroes 2 and this game is quickly becoming one of my favourite strategy games, other than of course BFME 2 and even 1 and of course edain. So the only other game that I've played that's on this channel anyway was my game against Rue Devil, and that was a replay. This is a live action, so I'm getting stressed already because I've just got to play, and here we go. Let me just go ahead and get a rifleman out. So yes, it's a really fun game, and more than any other strategy game or real-time strategy game, really, it's so much more focused on combat. It's something that I realised quite early on when I was playing even Company of Heroes 1, but the more I'm playing Company of Heroes 2 as well, it's just kind of reaffirming in my head that this game is all about the combat. And really, like, say you have the entire map, and the entire map being all of these little command points that you capture. Even if you have the entire map, if you lose the battles, you're gonna lose no matter what happens. Whereas in edain, or Battle for Middle Earth, or like say StarCraft, where you can build an economy that so overwhelms your enemy's economy. Actually, let me just switch up what I was gonna do there. I'll say go there and go there so I can stay a bit more in the middle. I don't really need the fuel at the moment. Yeah, unlike those games where you can just build up a huge economy and you can basically just win the economy battle, there's no real such thing as an economy win in Company of Heroes. Or at least I'm not good enough to have worked one out yet. And I'm still not very good at the game. But yeah, I mean, there's so many times where I've just completely overwhelmed my enemy in the early game, and I feel like I've got the match won. I've got the map won and the match won, I presume, and then they just beat me through killing all of my bloody stuff. So really, and obviously, I mean, it's still the case that if you get in an overwhelming position and you have overwhelming map control, you should win the game. But really, you have to be constantly on the lookout for constantly winning the battles, and you never really feel secure, or at least I don't, in this game. I need to pull these guys out because these Strum Pioneers are so good. They're like crazy good at short range. Looks like my rifleman has beat his grenadiers though. And let me just go ahead and grab some more plots over here. So yeah. I mean, it's just a really fun game all around as well, is the other thing. In the game that I played against Rue Devil, I went for an extremely early mortar. I've since realised that is just a ridiculous move. And by realising it's a ridiculous move, I mean, I've watched some decent players play from YouTube, and no one ever does that. So, if no decent player does what you're doing as a new player, you can pretty much guarantee that it's not that great of a strategy. Because if it was great, everyone would be doing it. That being said, there are things like... I mean, this is more for super competitive games like StarCraft. It's probably the most competitive RTS out there. I mean, this one's pretty high up. But StarCraft is number one, really, RTS strategy game in terms of competitiveness. And really, that would be the exception to the rule that I just said about only doing what really the best players do. Because sometimes in that game, and as I've seen other popular YouTubers say, is that sometimes you don't want to copy the top StarCraft players because some of the strategies that they use are so complex, like you get such a minor advantage from doing exactly what they do. Like the timings that they build their buildings, that really you're just nowhere near that level. So you're not going to really ever benefit from playing exactly the same as the best StarCraft players, because really you can't understand why they do that kind of stuff. I'm talking about like seconds difference between building like a command point building, for example. I mean, there's more obvious stuff like which meta you should go for. If no one's doing a meta that you've decided is what you like, then it's probably safe to think actually the meta's probably crap in whatever game you play. Anyway, let's have a look. It seems like I've unintentionally gone very heavy on my infantry on this side. So, I mean, I was losing a little bit there, so I put a lot of guys over here. Hopefully that'll give me some more of the map control. And he's been pushing on the other side. I'm going to get a lieutenant out. I mean, lieutenants, or is it a lieutenant? It's a captain. Captains are good in themselves. Like, they can get bazookas. They can get a bazooka upgrade. And actually 2 people in the battalion get a bazooka. So if you, and here it is, the upgrade. It costs munitions to upgrade it. If you can get some shots off on a light armor, a light vehicle, or even some medium vehicles, and oh, it seems like my game ranger is still up, so I hope people aren't going to be spamming the invite too much, because that will really annoy you guys. I didn't mean to close it, but I forgot. Oops. Anyway, yes. So actually, I don't want to get too many rifles. How many have I got now? 4. That's about a good amount. That is how much I've seen a lot of players go for. A lot of players go for is about that much. So actually, I'm going to go for an ambulance, because I do believe that's pretty decent as well. Yeah, I can't remember what I was saying now. Oh, was it about the captain? I think it was about the captain. Then he's got 2 bazookas, so yes, even some medium armor. And I'm just going to cap that and then run, because I'm vastly outnumbered in terms of infantry in that area just then. Yeah, it does reasonably well. They do reasonably well against medium armor as well. I mean, not great, but they're kind of like a soft counter. So here's the heavy truck. And I've seen a lot of good players. Oops, we lost an infantry unit, and that was the Shun Pioneers again. Like I didn't like. I stopped looking at those units for a little second. The Shun Pioneers close the distance, and then all your stuff is just dead. Like, they're so powerful at close range. I don't know what it's like what the history is of the Shun Pioneers in the German army. Rue Devil was saying in his video that this faction, OKW, is based on like Germany towards the end of the war, and he was saying that they're very aggressive faction, and like he said in that video, there's probably the design decision around that was probably because of the Battle of the Ardennes, where the Germans just pushed out. The Battle of the Bulge, they pushed out in a bulge against the American forces, and it was like crazy loads of losses on each side, and really like the Germans were losing the war, but they just wouldn't give up, and they went for that big last push. Obviously they still lost the war, otherwise I'd probably be speaking German. So yeah, that is probably the design decision around it. And that's probably why the Shun Pioneers are so good at short range, because they are quite an aggressive faction. At least I think they are. I'm just going on what Rue Devil said in his video. So here's my oh, here we go. This is what I want to show you guys. You have these different commanders. So that's a little different to edain or Battle for Middle Earth in general. So you can actually choose your different PowerPoints, basically, is what they are, the equivalent. And what I've gone for is this guy. Can't remember what it's called, actually. But it's this one that gives you all these powers. And one of them is to get these machine guns. And these machine guns are just super good. They're like light machine guns that you can equip on your riflemen. So I've also got a Stuart tank out at this point, and actually I might just go for some anti-tank, a more solid counter in case he gets any armor out. The Stuart tank is good, and obviously tanks in this game in general are good, but only if you use them well. It's not like, I mean, for example, say in edain, when you get Gondor cavalry out, and this might be because they're a little bit overpowered at the moment, or you get cavalry out in general. Cavalry in edain is just so strong. And part of the reason for that, I believe, is that the counter system isn't as great as it could be. And look at this blobbing that he's doing here. See if he's got any spare units up there. Talking about blobbing, I'm doing a bit of it myself. I'll go and grab this. Yeah, like when I get cavalry in edain, and the equivalent of cavalry in this game would be tanks, I just feel so secure. Like if you can get like maybe like 3 or 4 battalions of cavalry out, You know that they're going to survive, but if you get a tank out, or even a couple of tanks, it's so easy to lose them because the counter system in this is so good. Like, if your enemy gets anti-tank weapons out, and your tank runs into them, it dies so easily. So really, you have to be careful. And that's another reason why a lot of the time people can make comebacks in this game. A lot more than I find people making comebacks in edain, at least. So, I mean, this is a game that's been developed by a company, and why can't I... Oh, I was selecting the tank, that's why I couldn't capture there. You guys need to pull back, and you guys can just grab some land over here. Yes, obviously, this game is run by a big corporation, Relic. I mean, I don't think they're a huge corporation, but, I mean, they're run by a games company, is the point. So, it's much more likely that... it's gonna say like the micro battles in this and the balance of the game is much more likely to be better than it is in edain, because edain is just made by some excellent talented people, but at the end of the day it's their hobby, and it's also a very new game. This has been out for quite a long while, so I think we as a community can change edain, and that's something that's so good about mods. And edain in particular, because the edain team is very good at listening to people and taking on their advice. Although a few people would disagree with me on that, especially a lot of people on the ModDB forums. But yeah, we can kind of play a big hand. We players can play quite a big hand in how the game develops. edain, that is. I would like it to go in certain directions. But probably a lot of players would disagree with certain design decisions that I'd like to go for. And why I started this point in the first place was the design decision that I'd quite like to see is a better counter system, or a more significant counter system, to use that dreaded word again. And look at these the Panzer shots from OKW are so good. They're better than bazookas, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know that. I haven't heard that. This is just from what I've kind of like felt from the game. In the few games that I've played, is that the Panzer Shreks are just excellent against vehicles. So yeah, I mean, edain is my favourite game at the moment, regardless of strategy games. But I mean, that's not necessarily because it's the most balanced game. It's just all round. It's just a really fun game and entertaining. And to be fair, it is quite balanced. There's just certain big things that aren't balanced in it, at least in my opinion. So here we go. Now, why did I go for that lieutenant? Was I going to? Actually, I was going to get a half track. I think I've seen that being done before by good players. And really, that's just what you need to do when you're new at a game and you don't know what you're doing. Just copy what good players are doing, because they know what they're doing and you don't. So, yes, the other huge thing about Company of Heroes. Actually, let me put my anti-tank just there in case he pushes through the middle with his tanks. Yes, the other big thing about this game is about keeping your units alive. And I have said it before. I don't know if you've watched any of my other Company of Heroes videos. But it's just so important. And I hope he puts that down, because I could grenade him. He's not going to. It's so important to keep your units alive. It's like the most important thing. More than even map control, really. Because it's so expensive to replace your units. More than reinforcing them. And that goes for repairing your armor as well. So that's why I produced an echelon troop there to try and get it. And having said that, my enemy has lost a battalion there. So that is quite bad news for him. And I'm just going to pull back. Yes, and the other thing about this game, the other difference that I've noticed to edain and to Battle for Middle-earth, It's like how effective defensive being defensive can be. Really, in edain, I love to be super aggressive, and I love to just grab the map. And once I have the map, I love to just end it as quickly as I possibly can. But it works in edain. It doesn't seem to work so well here. Like, if you're winning, if you have the entire map, and you go in to push into your enemy, it's very easy to just lose your entire army, and therefore lose the entire game, just through being over-aggressive. Which really, sometimes in edain, and in Battle for Middle-earth, it's impossible to be over-aggressive. In certain situations, at least. And I don't know if that's because I'm not so great at this game, or whether it really is a feature of Company of Heroes to be a lot more measured and make sure that your position is so much more concrete than you might do in a game like Battle for Middle-earth, or even StarCraft. That's probably something to do with the economy system and the difference in the economy systems. So here's my Stuart tank. This could be in quite a bit of trouble here if it was by itself, because I'm sure these guys get Panzerschrecks. However, now that I've got this flak half-track in, that's going to do huge damage to infantry. I can also pull over my riflemen here. See if I can do any damage to these guys. I'm going to have to cover them with some units. And actually, I've got a nice blob over here. So he's suppressed here, and I'm going to throw a grenade, and hopefully... Okay, he's retreated, so that's not so great, but... Still going to do quite a bit of damage to him. So I think all things considered, I'm doing reasonably well so far in this match. I'm certainly doing better than I did in the game against Redevil. Oh, having said that, the Allied AT gun is destroyed. That's not great. So you guys come over here, and I'm going to have to grab that thing back, because I really don't want to get completely overwhelmed by his armor. Which can very easily happen, and oh gosh, he's taken my thingy, so you might get a few shots off here at some of my armor, unless I can... Yes, I kill it in time. So that's good news. I could go and get that, but once again, I don't like to be too... don't like to take too many risks in this game. So you guys can move over to this side. You guys can retreat and heal up. I've got this howitzer strike. The howitzer strike in this isn't as good as it is in Company of Heroes 1, at least in my experience. That might be because this game is a lot more competitive than Company of Heroes 1, and people are a lot better at just avoiding it. But I can hardly ever seem to get any hits off with the bloody thing. Even when people are like capturing a command post, which was the big like the big thing in Company of Heroes 1, at least in a lot of my games, was like your enemy is capturing the one of your command points, and then you just come in with a howitzer strike and kill a lot of his units. These guys can make your units sprint. I'm going to bring my Stuart tank over. It might be a mistake, but hopefully it's not. Oh, these guys need to retreat very, very quickly. And this guy can shock units. Oh, Jesus. You see, it was a bad decision, because in comes his Panzerschrecks now from that huge clump of infantry. And if, yes, the engine is damaged, so that's very bad news for me. Actually, I'll bring my flak gun over to try and help it out a little bit. But this guy's looking in serious trouble, and it's Vet 2, so that's quite bad news for me. And actually, my micros, my healing and everything like that hasn't been very good in that little bit of micro battle. Just bring all these units over once they're healed up. You can come over. You can go and try and break the supply lines a little bit. So there you go. Once again, that's the power of the Panzerschreck. And there's another Game Ranger noise to keep you guys annoyed. And another one. It's like getting smacked in the face, that one. Actually, I was going to bring that over to try and help this half-track, but it looks like the half-track is going to die anyway, so I don't want to lose that too. So while he's targeting that, maybe I'll be able to get a few kills off with that infantry that I've managed to bring over. And here's my major. Now, 79 command points out of 90. I've got quite a lot of command points, which is always good. But it also means that I might not be able to get a lot of the late game units that I want, unless he kills some of my stuff. So yeah, it's looking pretty nice. I've still got this here in case he does like some kind of crazy push into the middle. I'll actually go ahead and use that. Hopefully this guy isn't good enough to realise you've got to run from giant rockets raining from the sky. Where's are any of my units not doing anything? I mean, these guys need to be healing up. Actually, you are healed up now, so you're not doing anything. You need to retreat actually more than anything else. And we just lost a unit. Ooh, I lost it over here. Okay. I could put a sticky grenade on that, and that'll definitely kill it in one shot. I mean, at least I'm pretty sure it will. Did it? Oh, not in one shot, but it will die now. So let's see what I can do here. Just go ahead and grab some more ground. Grab this command point post as well. And there's the vehicle push that I was actually a little bit hoping for, because I hope. Now he's doing a bit of a strafe. Actually, where's these guys? You need to be healing up these guys. And I should have been doing that a lot more. Where's my lieutenant actually? Or my captain rather. There he is. He's the one with the bazookas. Can I sprint and catch up to it? I doubt it, although he looks like he's stopping a little bit, which is a bit of a strange move. If I can get rid of that, that is going to be huge. I mean, just take a look at the map now, and you can probably tell that I'm doing reasonably well in this match. Even if you don't know a lot about the game. I'm blue, and just look how blue the map is at the moment. So I'm quite happy with that. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and get one of these things. Or should I get I could get a tank destroyer, actually. In fact, I'll probably get that, because I was going to get, yeah, I was going to get that thing, which is, it's like a mobile howitzer. This power here is a howitzer weapon. Basically, you can get a tank that does it on a recharge, like a hero ability in edain. Actually, let me just grab this with, that's a lieutenant. I just grab it with that lieutenant. Yes, it's like a howitzer strike from this tank. So really, it's excellent against anti-infantry. But I'm not that worried about his infantry, to be honest, at the moment. I'm more worried about if he gets any amazing tanks out. So that's why I went for the tank destroyer, because they destroy tanks. If you didn't know. Gonna throw a grenade there, and I'm guessing this guy isn't gonna react to it in enough time. Indeed, he isn't. Having said that, I didn't react to my gun crew being wiped out very well. Oh shoot! He's also got my gun crew, and you need to run. Oh dear. So this is what I mean. Like this huge push through the middle, like this could be enough to start to wipe out some of my troops. Let me do a howitzer strike and see if it can. If it can prove me wrong in it not ever hitting anything. And he's retreating, and it's definitely going to kill that gun crew. At least I hope it's going to kill that gun crew, and I can get that gun back. So that'd be nice. That was a direct hit. Surely he's dead from that. And I do think you can decrew guns, so he might have got his squad out. So you can grab that. Or is it destroyed now? I think it might be destroyed, so I'm definitely going to have to get another one of those. Because tanks are my main worry now. And right on cue, there is a tank. Where's my... Did they die? I think my echelon troops died. A list of your troops is in the top right there, if you didn't know. Pull this guy back. Pull you back as well, because you're rubbish at actually fighting. You're just good at calling in airstrikes. So, you go here. And you can throw a grenade. So I just have a feeling that this guy's micro isn't that great. Although he does run away from it there. So where's my that flat gun? Is that flat gun still alive? No, it's not. It's dead. Great. Absolutely fantastic. It's dead. So actually, a better idea might have been to put my machine gun there in the middle, because it's really done almost nothing over there. And that's another thing about this game, which is quite different to a lot of other strategy games, is that your placement of your units is so important. Like, of course, it's important in every game, in every real-time strategy game, but sometimes in this game, the placement of your units can be win or lose the entire game. So I quite like that about the game as well. So and now look at this. It is doing better in that position. Already it's Vet 2. Vet 1, sorry. So he's on 116, so oh goodness gracious me, look at that. And can you decrew this? Don't know how to. But that and there goes that crew. That those fire grenades are so good at anti-infantry. So annoyingly good. I'm just gonna drop a grenade and then run. Hopefully not run into the grenade. That wouldn't be very clever. So yeah, like remember what the map was like. He's got a lot of this area now. But if that was what the map was like in Edain, I'd be like, I've won this game. Or Battle for Middle-earth or StarCraft. I would have just won the game. And I could just start to slowly siege my enemy. In this game, I'm not so confident. Either because it's a good idea not to be so confident, or because I'm just not that great at the moment. So you go there. Where's my machine gun? I'm sure it survived. It did. And it's on Vet 1, so that's nice. You can stop there. You can grab that. And still got this tank destroyer. And actually, I've got a lot of fuel now. Now I might go for a Sherman, because that's pretty good at anti-infantry. And he's got quite a lot of infantry now. These guys are Vet 2. What does Vet 2 even do? Combat increases squad survivability. So they might be able to survive against that. They're not going to be able to survive against that tank though. Let's bring my lieutenants up a little bit. Really, I think now I should be focusing on the command points, because he's only got 61 left now. And he's thinking the exact same thing. And he's trying to grab some of his own. Let's just go ahead and call in a barrage there, in the hope that he's going to rush to take it and not realise that that's coming in at him. So I've still got quite a lot of units, as you see in this top right corner here. Wow, he's got a lot of infantry there. You guys are going to have to pull back. Actually, maybe yeah, we'll go for a Sherman. I was thinking about getting another machine gun just to counter that that blob of infantry. And there goes my rear echelon troops. That's the power of blobbing in this game. It's so much more easy, or so much easier to kill individual units when you blob like that. It's got its disadvantages as well, but I don't know what the disadvantages are. Probably just your presence over the map in general is nowhere near as good when you blob like that. So yeah, I mean, it was looking excellent for me earlier. It's really not looking that great for me now. I mean, I'm still winning, probably through the command points, if nothing else. Don't want that guy to come in, actually, because it's going to die to the Panzerschrecks if I'm not careful. Oh Jesus, that's not good micro. That's not good micro. I'm not talking so much because I'm quite focused on not losing at the moment. I like AT guns have been destroyed. Absolutely bloody fantastic. Where's my major gun? Can you? Oh, I haven't got enough. Haven't got enough munitions for it. Airstrike. Oh, there's that bloody fire grenade again. Incendiary grenades. We lost that anti-tank gun again. So where's my tank destroyer? You can come in. I think you'll be able to do reasonably well against those guys. You guys need to come in here. So yeah, it's looking risky for me again. This is a bad move from my enemy though, to come in like that. And this is what I mean about, like, if you have a slight advantage and you're too over aggressive, you're just gonna die. As he did there, he's lost 2 tanks. That's pretty huge. And actually, although he's got a lot more of the map now, I'm probably going to be able to push him back quite a bit, just because of that mistake. And also, his infantry have been pummeled, absolutely pummeled. He's got 1 unit of every battalion left there. Let's see if I can. Sometimes you can chase them down. Unfortunately, I couldn't there. So yes, that was nice. He had to really push and he had to really be aggressive in that situation. It was forced upon him because he was so low on command points. Or victory points, I think they're called. He had to start pushing like that. But he's lost so many of his units now. Really, I should be able to close this game out and get the victory. Get the big V. I could get another Sherman. I could get another machine gun. I was worried a little bit earlier about my population cap. That has quickly become a non-issue as I've lost a lot of stuff in that little fight. But I'm almost 100% sure that I came out overall on top from that little engagement. With a lot of help from these light machine guns that the riflemen get. Are so good at anti-infantry. Actually, let me go ahead and switch this to the incendiary cannon, because that's good at anti-infantry. The other one is armor piercing. Good at piercing armor. So therefore, good versus armor. So many pro tips from watching my videos. And there's a Puma. That's not great. You guys, can you switch? You can't switch. But in comes my tank destroyer. In comes a sticky bomb. And wow, look at the power of that tank destroyer. I didn't know it was as good as that. I mean, that's it's either light or medium armor versus a tank destroyer, which is designed at killing pretty hefty armor. So not too much of a surprise it did that much damage, but it was quite a lot. Light armor, he just said there. But it's a good tank killer in itself, as we saw there. And we just lost a medium tank. So actually that is terrible. And once again, it's me being a little bit overconfident. I thought I really had it in the bag, but look at all the infantry that's coming out of everywhere. And that's a level 5 battalion, I think. Or was it level 3? Either way, it was high. I'll get another tank destroyer when I've got enough money for it. So yes, despite that little mistake of losing my armor in that position, I can't see him coming back from this now. It's 18 victory points. I'm capping the 3rd one. He's going to have to push on one of these 3 victory points now or lose. I mean, even if he does push on one of them, I'm still going to win because it's just going to be... I'm just going to win a little bit slower. So yes, GG. I'm getting better at this game. I can feel it. I can feel the power. Mainly because I'm not rushing for mortars when I really don't need to. And also, I've watched quite a few decent players of the game on YouTube. So, Rue Devil, if you're watching, I'm ready for a rematch. You'll probably beat me still. Here we go. Get this guy on here. And there we go. It's victory anyway. It didn't matter about that little bit of micro. And there's the howitzer strike to destroy his base. And that's it. I've got the GG. I've got a victory in Company of Heroes too. Thank God. And here I'll just show you some of the stats if you're into that kind of thing. So here we go. Most valuable unit. One of my riflemen. 64 kills and only 1 death. That's a kill to death ratio that even them largest would be proud of. The meat shield was the AT gun. Surprise, surprise. I lost so many AT guns in that game. And really, if you're going to have a meat shield, it really shouldn't be an AT gun. It should be like the rifleman. This is quite interesting. I haven't really looked at this before. Units killed, 119, 131. Damage dealt. He dealt a bit more damage than I did. But still, I managed to kill more units than him. But the units lost is quite similar. So is that friendly fire from Noobfella there? A few more captures, and particularly victory point captures, I'd assume. So his army value kind of slowly decreased over time as mine started to build up. His was quite high at the beginning. I don't know if that's just because the OKWs, they have quite an expensive army in general. Feature stats, yeah, there's just loads of stuff. Efficiency, whatever that is, 839% efficiency. I don't know what efficiency is, but that sounds bloody good. Maybe it's how much they killed compared to how much they're worth. So I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching and goodbye.